The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us.
That's a magnet.
Oh boy, you guys.
Crazy ones, yeah.
Hold on, let's get through the intro first, okay? All right. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Wednesday, November 29th, and today is National Package Protection Day. I wonder if this is in relation to the Postal Service or if this is just for men everywhere across the country.
Protect your package.
Exactly. Protect your package, guys. It's International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people and Electronic Greetings Day. Well, you know what else it is. It's also the start of MJ Biz, and everyone's out in Vegas getting turned up, and I'm willing to bet that they all party too hard, and everyone's going to be late to show up for the festivities today. But nonetheless, thank you for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. Use that little bar down below on the bottom of the screen to see where we live on the internet, and we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and Rumble. So welcome to everyone joining us from any of those audiences. Rico, how do you want to start this off today? Because we just got the three of us today.
We can get it popping. I think I'm going to have some good discussion to come out of mine. So
you want me to start off with one of mine? I have 4 stories today.
You got 4?
I have 4. I have 4 stories for you today, Rico.
An overachiever, right?
Hey, you know what? Hey, when people aren't here, when people have partied too hard with Burner last night, you know what I mean? I'm here to make sure to carry the weight.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Superstars on the team.
That's right. That's right.
Hang out with the Burn man himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, all stars all the way around. All stars all the way around. Oh man, get ready for this, you guys. And Adam, this is the one that has that post that I was mentioning to you. If we can pop up there, the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics moved in on a massive illegal marijuana operation outside of Locust Grove on Tuesday morning. OBN Director Donnie Anderson said the raid on a rural industrial facility comes after a 1-year investigation into an organized crime ring that operates mainly on the East Coast of the United States. In a quote, "We weren't planning on announcing it today, but a judge signed off on the search warrant this morning," said OBN spokesman Mark Woodward. Anderson told reporters on Tuesday the operation is not related to any international criminal actors, but the operation that was being run was unlicensed and similar to what the state is trying to crack down on when it comes to large illegal grows connected to other activity. Not many other details could be released at this time because the search for local suspects who've been running the operation is underway. And in a quote, "We can't release too much because our suspects are not in custody at this time, but more will come out later once we get some people into custody," Anderson said. Oh my goodness! I can't believe a judge signed off on this.
Right?
I can't believe a judge signed off on this. This is crazy. Fox 23 spoke with Earl Harris, who lives nearby and saw the illegal drug bust in action. He says it's total shock to get up and see deputy cars and state highway patrol standing in the side of your road with AR-15s, Harris said. He said he counted 18 of them. He said there's enough crime without it being brought in, Harris said. And agents worked all day and into the evening, leaving with truckloads of marijuana and another property shut down. So I guess they braided two places. Fox 23 also spoke with OBN spokesperson Mark Woodward, and he says, it is something we are doing every day and working behind the scenes, he said. Sometimes the press doesn't even see all the effort going into trying to continue to address the criminal elements that are trying to get a foothold in our state. And this is just one example, the video of one operation, he says. Well. Big busts happening out in Oklahoma. They've been talking about it for a long time. And look at this. Look at these pictures, you guys. And look, they got these guys with their hands up. So I guess these guys, they didn't get arrested because they said that the suspects are still at large. So I wonder who these guys actually are. But look at all those bags. That's a lot of bags, bro. It's a lot of bags right there. Look at that.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I wasn't there.
You know what this looks like? This looks like one of those New York warehouses where they have all the old, like year-and-a-half old weed inside of it. This looks pretty similar.
Are you sure that picture's not from New York?
Yes, because it was posted by the Oklahoma Bureau of Law Enforcement.
And cops never lie.
Hey, you know.
No.
Oh, I have a cop lie in another story later today. I think you'll find this very, very interesting. Yes. Is there a video of that too, Adam? Oh man, should we play this video? All right, we're gonna play this video.
Yeah,
let's see what you guys have to say about this. Hold on 1 second, he says. Adam's pulling it up. Here we go. We're getting live in like 3, 2, and 1. Blast off.
See, now we showed you at 5 drone footage of state agents moving in on the scene off Highway 412. They say this is...
No, you can play it. It's all right.
We have team coverage for you tonight, starting with Fox 23's John Acebus, live from the site near Locust Grove for us. John, what are people in the community saying about this? Definitely surprised.
Well, honestly, they say they're not very surprised. Over the last few months, they say they've seen some unusual things going on here. One of those being cameras. As you see right over my right shoulder, it appears there's a camera just above that fence line that is either on or recording. This is one of many things they say they have noticed, so they are not surprised to see what happened today. This was live drone footage of a massive marijuana bust in Locust Grove. You can see what appears to be workers with their hands in the air, as well as dozens of agents and trucks on scene.
I counted 18.
That's Earl Harris. From where he lives, he can probably throw a rock and hit the site that was shut down.
It's total shock. You get up every morning and come outside, and deputy cars and state highway patrol and different agents standing on the side of the road with AR-15s.
Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics agents held a news conference Tuesday in Oklahoma City addressing their efforts to crack down on illegal marijuana businesses. This one, agents say, was tied to a criminal organization on the East Coast operating in Locust Grove. OBN spokesperson Mark Woodward.
It is something that we are doing every day. Our agency, OMMA, working behind the scenes that a lot of times the press does not get to see. All the effort that's going into what we're doing to try to address the criminal elements that are trying to get a foothold in our state. And this is just an example, this video of one operation.
Moments ago, dozens of agents left the scene of this property behind me here in Locust Grove. This gate was just closed, but one more wrecker appears to have gone back on site. Now, even as I stand here, there's a gentleman in the parking lot parked saying he works here and he's not sure what happens next. He says in the last few days, there have been attorneys here who signed off and said everything was okay. Now he doesn't know if he has a job. Agents worked all day and into the evening, leaving with truckloads of marijuana, another property shut down, and making people like Earl Harris feel a little safer.
There's enough crime here without it being brought in.
Now, after I spoke with that gentleman in the parking lot who said he worked here, I reached out to narcotics agents, and I basically texted them and said, hey, how likely is it that he wouldn't have known? And they said very likely. They are usually just hired to do a simple job, come in here and do some labor, and they just assume that things here are legal. Turns out in Locust Grove, agents say this was not, but this is still an active and open investigation. They are still looking to put in custody the people who run this organization.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. What do you guys think about this? Locust Grove.
They just keep chasing their tail.
Yep.
They don't want to look at the realities of this is a cash crop. People are going to grow it every place you're not watching them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a market for it. And yet you still put the cops in charge of trying to fix this. Policymakers won't fix this. And so we're going to continue to see this going round and round and round until we have an effective federal policy and a nationwide interstate commerce plan to deal with this. Otherwise, right now, growing this shit is money making. Why would people not do it when they can't catch you? Cops have a tough time catching people, especially with crimes like this, or who all's involved. Why are they letting these people walk away? Well, I mean, if you're working on an illegal operation, you're committing a crime.
You know what I wonder, Dale? I wonder how many of those workers were actually owners and they were just like, I'm just a worker here.
Yeah. It's like, well, who knows? Because cop's job is to investigate crime and to go out and gather evidence. And they don't want to talk about policy.
Hold on. No, hold on. It's law enforcement's job. Law enforcement makes an arrest and then builds their case. The federal government, FBI and whatnot, they do their investigation and then they make an arrest. There's a big distinction right there.
Well, at a state level, they stumble upon crime a lot more than they get into investigation.
That part.
But I thought this story was they've been investigating for a year. Okay?
Yes.
And this is what they got after a year?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I want to know how much tax dollars they paid to do this. Like how much did they spend on this investigation in the course of a year?
Well, I don't know the numbers, but it's money they're flushing down the toilet because it doesn't solve anything. And that's the runaround they fall into. The policy makers need to step up and fix this, but they don't want to because they're a bunch of pussies. They want to take anything that's going to be controversial, leave it to the cops, and the cops screw this up regularly. In the meantime, people are shipping boof all over the goddamn country and selling it everywhere, and the beat goes on.
Yeah, and this being in Oklahoma, this very well could have been a very big boof factory that they shut down.
Well, how many of them are boof factories?
Oh, probably like 90% of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a problem. But, if you're in, I don't know, left armpit, Mississippi, and you're looking for some weed, boof is like all you got to choose from. So
either that or THCA.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. THCA, America's favorite. Oh, yes. The king of the internet.
That shit's comical because they define something, and then if it's not clearly defined, everything else is legal, and they're standing there, with both feet on their virile member going, how do we screw this up? Well, because you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. Mm-hmm. That's the problem.
Yep.
Go ask a chemist. They know how to define this shit.
Very, very true. You got any other thoughts on this, Rico?
I'm just saying, man, keep on playing whack-a-mole.
Keep on playing. I mean, and they got lots of land in Oklahoma. They got lots of land in Oklahoma to play whack-a-mole with.
Looks like them good old trap boys done got away again.
Oh, and on that note, we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back. Sick of the December cold? Then fly out to Miami in December for Terp Basil, December 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Presented by Sherbinski's at Skatebird in Miami, with tons of your favorite brands in attendance for this 4-day event, as well as Hyatt 9 News as one of the media partners. With live performances throughout the week by Dead Prez, Mayday, Visions Band, and Washi Fire. So, do like the birds and fly south to Miami for Terp Basil this winter, December 7th through the 10th in Miami, Florida. Man, it just makes me want to go to Florida, bro. Oh, yes. Coming up next, we have the dope dad himself. That's right. It's Rico Lamitte, who is still here in L.A. That's right. Kicking it with the Bay and taking care of little baby Quasimodo in the background. That's right. It is none other than the dope dad himself. It is Rico Lamitte.
Thank you, Jason. And y'all know what? 2024 is right around the corner. And as the world rings in yet another trip around the sun, the California cannabis industry's adult use market will also be celebrating its 6th year of operating. In the midst of tough economic times, the Golden State weed industry is up against an emboldened criminal syndicate, and law enforcement's been largely ineffective against persistent illegal operators. Will the world's largest adult use cannabis industry ever learn how to kill off the illicit players and replace them with thriving legal businesses? Several SoCal industry insiders gave Green Market Report their takes this week, and the outlook is not so pretty. Per the article, thousands of unlicensed storefronts and delivery services have been kept alive by high state and local taxes that make it impossible for legal retailers to compete on price points. It's led to many multi-state operators and brands exiting the multi-billion-dollar market, despite its enormous number of consumers, and driven much the contraction that has been happening for months. And many are saying that the future of viability of California's legal market is at stake. Jared Kylo, owner of the Higher Path Dispensary and president of the United Cannabis Business Association, says he does not think anything's changed since 2028's launch, and if anything, it's gotten worse. Even if the illicit market hasn't really grown per se, it's gained confidence and become more organized due to the lack of enforcement or serious criminal penalties. They've become more efficient. And with that efficiency, they've become a little bit harder to find, and they've gone into different areas. It's not all weed maps anymore. They're not that dumb anymore, Kylo said. He also said local and state agents have been inefficient in shuttering illicit operators for good. While they may change locations and tactics, those operators are still broadly active and sucking market share from people trying to play by the rules. A new state law allows agents to levy civil fines of up to $30,000 a day against anyone found operating without proper permits, but enforcement has been scarce. The director of California Department Tax and Fee Administration, Nicholas Maduros, told Kylo and others that he's hesitant to put his staff at possible risk of assault from illicit operators. Recanting the conversation, Kylo says Maduros told him that they didn't have Kevlar pocket protectors. And he said that shit. And concerned for their own safety. Kylo's response, what about ours? We're trying to survive. What's the encouragement to actually run a licensed operation versus obviously the incentives to not do it? Well put, Jared. And you know what? I don't have an answer for that either. And apparently the state of California does not have anything to say in backlash to this. They just put out more tax dollars into no enforcement. And, much has come and gone in California industry over the last 5 years. Regulators have been cycled out, some on their own terms, others not so much. The legal business landscape's evolved. Many big named first movers have tapped out. Others teamed up with rivals to survive or got rolled up into larger entities. When it comes to wellness, we've witnessed the meteoric rise of lesser regulated CBD and hemp industries. Psychedelics gained public favor and heard much less about cannabis as medicine, unfortunately. In the lifestyle lane, still the heart and soul of everything that we do, but so much has changed. The event scene's completely unrecognizable, along with what it means to be a cannabis influencer these days. But of course, how consumption's generally perceived and performed by insiders and the public, night and day, comparing 2017 to 2023. In lieu of all that change, one facet of the California games rolled with the punches, adjusted appropriately, and remains generally unscathed. We've said it from the jump, continue to say it over the last few years of reading these headlines, and I'll say it again today. The trap is immortal. It's a product of the people and will always serve the people because regulated markets fail to provide equal access on both sides of the game, that is. It's an inconvenient reality, but indeed the reality we all live in. Capitalism will win out at the end. And whatever that looks like another 5 years from now, who knows? But I'm pretty sure the trap will still be alive and kicking. The regulators and legislators are the ones who gave the illicit operators their current leverage. It's on them to restore balance. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News. Interested in hearing y'all's thoughts on the California market's first 5 years and predictions for the near and distant future. What do y'all think?
Man, it's been
Metaphor is circling the drain. From the minute this got started, anybody that wanted to get in the industry was looked at as a target to pick their pockets because, of course, they were making all this money. And if you give these regulators an opportunity, they'll regulate the shit out of everything.
Facts.
Make it where you
Yeah.
can't operate. So
Everybody-
the only way you're going to beat the trap is in the marketplace. And right now, the marketplace that's legal can't compete with the trap, and the cops are getting paid to go after them. So
Everybody should have been listening to Warren G.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mount up.
they don't wanna
Regulators
listen.
mount up. Exactly. They're gonna come in and start taxing. Exactly. I totally agree with you, Dale. It's been a downhill spiral ever since the start, and everyone had such high hopes for the industry overall and all of the possibilities that it would bring to instill economic growth in underserved communities and the whole hopes and promises of social equity, better known as socialist equity, have just been an utter failure. And these regulators don't do anything at all whatsoever to try to fix the problem. All they do is set policies in place to only prolong the inevitable.
Well, from the jump, the people that were regulating this didn't like marijuana.
Nope.
I mean, they didn't go looking for cannabis-friendly people to be involved. Lori
Nope.
Ajax, I mean, she's a nice lady, but she came from the alcohol industry. And they just didn't trust our industry. They thought we were the bootleggers, and they still think of all of us that way.
You know what's funny that you mentioned that, Dale, because I had a conversation with a DCC agent at the very, very beginning of all of this. And I was asking them where they came from, like how they do this, da-da-da-da-da. And she was former law enforcement, and she said that she got into it because she wanted to come in and bust illegal grows. And that's why she joined the DCC.
Well, what the people of California did was say, fuck all you guys. We're going to make growing weed a misdemeanor soaking wet. Deal with that. So now the downside for people who grow weed illegally is you're looking at a misdemeanor soaking wet, unless they find some other environmental problems. So law enforcement's all pissed off that we can't threaten them with a felony anymore. And those of us who were threatened with felonies are like, fuck you. You don't need that gun to anybody's head.
Yep.
Figure this out from a policy standpoint, and no one wants to do it. They all want tax money. They all want to keep telling you what you have to do, and the trap's like, fuck that. I'll throw 50 pounds in a trunk and move it and sell it tomorrow.
Exactly.
Stuff the money in my pocket. Fuck all you guys.
Right?
Yep. I'm most surprised, Dale. I'm most surprised at these other states taking the same path. Like New York, I'm looking at y'all, looking at you, James of Flatbush. I'm looking at these New Yorkers, man. Like y'all saw how we fumbled that that shit, and you did the same thing.
Well,
Mhm.
I think New York actually fumbled it better than us, because their trap market is oh my God, it's so flourishing, and it's like every single door of every single business on every single street. It's
out in the open.
Yeah, it's like
crazy.
out here it was out in the open and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you drive a mile, you see a weed store. You know what I mean? You drive another couple miles, you see a weed store. But New York, you just walk from one storefront to one storefront, and you have a whole selection of flower to choose from.
Right. Yeah, out here they at least try to conceal it. You don't see how extravagant their offerings are until you walk into the joints. In New York. That shit's out in the open.
The problem is still the mindset of the people who don't want to legalize this, but were forced to by popular demand. Okay, we had to pass an initiative in California because the cops just would not do it. I mean, the problems we had after 215 passed, when the cops lost their mind, that all of a sudden we can defend ourselves in court, to the point where we are now, that if you go into a state and say, oh, we want to open cannabis, who shows up? Regulators that don't like weed, the cops show up. The people who want to make it legal don't have the inside influence in these policymakers to get what we need in an industry to work. So the cops are just stupid. They'll continue to do the same thing over again. It's the definition of insanity. And they think we're going to get a better result. Give us more money or resources, we'll fix the problem. No, you can't. People want to smoke weed. That's the problem. The average person doesn't think weed is dangerous for you. Nothing compared to alcohol and tobacco. So they tell you, go sit down and fuck yourself because we don't buy your propaganda anymore. And the cops want to keep doing the same thing. It really is crazy. And trying to talk to policymakers, you can just feel their butts pucker up when you point out to them, you guys do not want to address this from how you're going to win, which is from economics. Give everybody who wants to do this a license, watch them, let this stuff be not unregulated, but regulated a lot less. Nobody really gives a shit out there whether you have a COA attached to every nug they're going to buy. They're buying it in the trap. Nobody's coming in with a COA.
No one cares.
All this shit they're doing is nuts.
That. No one cares. So Dale, you're saying that you can see their butt quiver. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, you look for the countenance on their face
you can
as
feel
you're
it.
talking to them, and you can just see that
you can
know
just
their
watch.
butts
You can just
snap and set like a cigar cutter. What? Oh my God, we're the problem. Yeah, you're the fucking problem because you don't recognize economics. It's incredible to watch their faces, guys.
Oh boy. Oh,
Yep.
Oh man, it's just yes, that's right. When the reality.
See, I used to
hits.
represent cops, so I can sit down with the cops and tell them, look, I know what the hell you guys do in your back rooms. Stop this. Stop making these policies. But someone's funding them. Someone's paying them. You got to follow the money here. Who's paying these cops to go out and keep doing this?
I think you hit the nail right on the head with your first comment there, Dale. When you put people in charge of an industry that are either A, diametrically opposed to everything in that industry, or B, have never run a business in that industry, you're doomed to fail. Period. Like I love like a lot of the our past regulators. Kat Packer's a close friend of mine too, but she had never run a cannabis business, and they just threw her into the fire and made her run all of Los Angeles and made her a public enemy number one for everybody because she couldn't please any or everybody, and she just didn't have past business experience in cannabis.
That position
right?
was
And then
destined
Lori
to fail.
Ajax from the alcohol industry.
Well, hold on. They didn't even give her proper resources at the same time too, so we can't blame it.
Well, she had like 6 people on her team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She didn't even have proper resources. She didn't have the proper budget to really do that.
She was a scapegoat.
Somewhere like LA, exactly. She ended up being a poster child for failure, and it's sad.
It was
that
the
LA
sacrificial lamb.
Yeah,
come on,
100%.
You can't do this down there. Everybody's fighting each other to get into the middle of this, and their political interests are just not in line with everybody else's. And there's so many problems in LA. I mean, the whole mess out here is that we did not start off with people who were friendly to the cannabis industry looking for ways to make it work. They just didn't enforce for a couple years. But when they did start to enforce, it's like they're going to try to enforce their way through this. You can't do it. This is not an enforcement problem. It's an economic problem. Until you get to the heart of the economics of this, enforcement's your only tool. And it's never going to work. It's whack-a-mole.
Facts. And we're gonna keep this train rolling. Thank you so much for that, Rico. This story was sent to us by Ingrid, who watches us daily, and she sent me over this article. It says the Lower Sioux in Minnesota need homes, so they are building them from hemp. And just so you know, this is one of those. This was a longer article, so I had it shortened down. Just so you know. Those computers are working great. The Lower Sioux Indian Reservation in southern Minnesota is building a 20,000 square foot manufacturing campus to pioneer a green experiment. They will grow hemp, process it into insulation called hempcrete, and then build healthy homes with it. The Lower Sioux lost most of their lands in the 19th century and now live in poor soil on 1,743 acres. They are building homes that will last and be healthy, and are developing a niche eco skill they can market off the reservation as well. One of the smallest tribes in the county is leading the national charge on an integrated hempcrete operation, and it's fantastic because hempcrete is normally the domain of rich people with means to contract a green home, not marginalized communities. I'm not sure if that's all the way true, but whatever. Earl Pendleton, 52, a rail-thin man of quiet intensity, grew obsessed with industrial hemp when reading about it 13 years ago. He learned it has 25,000 uses and can regenerate soil, sequester carbon, and doesn't require fertilizers. Hempcrete is made by mixing mashed stalks with lime and water and then spraying or stuffing the resulting oatmeal-like substance in the cavities or framed walls. Commercial hemp was banned in the U.S. until the 2018 Farm Bill, but hempcrete has been slow to catch on due to chicken and egg conundrum. Pendleton saw a chance to pivot from the Lower Sioux Jackpot Junction Casino, the tribe's main source of income for the past 35 years, because the per capita cut that each family gets from the 30 million profits yearly has shrunk dramatically, they say. Well, I do think hempcrete is a future, and I think one of the bigger problems with hempcrete is that not as many building departments across the country acknowledge hempcrete as actual building material, and I think we need to get more cities and more bureaucracies on board with that, and probably even the federal government in as allowing hempcrete as a buildable source for all of these construction needs. And I think then you would see more of an economic boom within this country in regards to this industry. But shout out to the Sioux tribe out there in Minnesota for doing this, and I'm sure that they are going to be very profitable in their endeavors. And this is Jason Beck. What do you guys have to say?
You know what?
About this?
Jason, and thank you, Ingrid, for your contribution with the story. Always showing love out there. Most of y'all know that I'm a huge proponent of the hemp industry. I actually have one of our hemp hoodies on today.
Toasty.
Toasty. Make sure y'all check out Toasty Tees. We got some good shit for y'all. And the problem, Jason, is all these subsidies that are already put out for the concrete industry, for big lumber as well. And they have like 10, sometimes 15-year contracts, and they ain't breaking those, man. Like hempcrete specifically can solve so many problems. When it comes to insulation, when it comes to flame retardants, in at-risk states like here in California. You can replace all these roads with hempcrete, and you have a lot less issues too. But the problem is it costs too much, and you're not going to have those subsidies because they've already been given to the powers that be. And how much money is it going to cost to actually retrain a lot of those people in those legacy industries to actually learn the processes with hemp?
You're forgetting
right?
the other part, Rico.
What's that?
If roads didn't break, we wouldn't need planned obsolescence, and planned obsolescence is the big part in all of this.
That part, there is no profit. There is no long-term profit or sustainable profit involved in a cure, right? So You're going to keep on doing something that is broken or half broken. Like, oh yeah, we can fix it. We can improve. There's no need for the Maytag man if the shit never breaks down, right?
That's right. And there's no need to buy it again if it doesn't break.
Yep.
Well, national building standards have to incorporate this, and that's where the influence of these big industries is just hard to break. And right now it's expensive insulation, and few people can afford it. You can build lumber, non-structural support lumber out of hemp. There are so many things you can do, but each one of them competes with an industry making billions of dollars. And they can throw money at the national industry standards that we can't. We're standing outside the castle with a bunch of signs screaming, yelling, let us in, and everybody else is already inside making money. And that's a problem we face with almost any hemp derived product. Either we can't produce it profitably here in the United States, it's got to be imported, or you can't break into the industries.
We would much rather fill the potholes rather than fix the damn road, right?
Ingrid is saying something interesting. She says that hempcrete's trouble is with the binders, and so, but that to my understanding, that's water and lime, isn't it?
Well, it's quick lime, but it's not structural. Okay, you've got to have concrete that'll withstand different forces to be able to make it structural. And right now, it's just expensive insulation. So they need to develop hemp products that actually can withstand loads. Otherwise, it's just, like I said, expensive insulation.
Expensive insulation. Interesting, Dale. Interesting.
They need to dump some of that enforcement budget into the development of hempcrete and research into the better hempcrete products.
Oh,
Yeah.
and she
Cops
says
are never giving that money up.
hold on, this
Nope.
is super interesting. She also says the industry people are worried about protecting their quote unquote recipe instead of putting it out there to be tried and tested. So there
The
you go.
recipe.
That protectionist mindset popping back in, even when we're dealing with weed and hemp.
Yeah.
The
I
booth
can
of the
actually
booth.
Yep, the booth of the booth. I can actually see like a stopgap measure being maybe a hybrid material
Mm-hmm.
until we can figure out how to completely fix. I just looked up over here on Google. It says the biggest downsides of hempcrete are its porous structure of the hempcrete decreases its mechanical performance and increases the ability to retain water. Like
Yep.
maybe developing some kind of hybrid material until they fix all of that stuff. But you know what? Money fixes everything else. Money
Well,
goes into all this research.
Dale, I think you'll find this super, super interesting. Dr. Mark Scaldone is in the chat, and he says the concrete industry will resist until they own it. All kinds of structuralized testing needs to happen to show durability in its use.
It does. There's a lot of PR that goes into changing these industry standards. And when the door isn't open to you, then it's pretty hard to change them.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of research in the strength of different concrete products. I mean, you have to test it at the site before it's allowed to be used for structure. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into this. But concrete's not the only thing you can use hemp for in building. It needs to be brought into every part of it it can be. I mean, they're taking goddamn chips of wood and turning them into 2x4s. Okay.
Well, that's particle
You
board.
tell me well, yeah, you're telling me you can't make something out of hemp curd? I mean, come on, dude.
Feel like Goldilocks.
It's not true.
Feel like
But
Goldilocks.
that's the story that the industry's being told.
Every time you say curds, all I can think of is Goldilocks.
Goldilocks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No
The
way.
three bears.
Yes.
No
Three
way.
bears, yes. And on that, we got to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
How's it going, guys? Saman Razani coming to you from Green Street here with Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast available on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify? Tune in now and check it out.
Oh, yes. Stop whatever you're doing, and whatever you are doing, make sure that you hit that like button. I know we'll appreciate it, you will appreciate it, and YouTube appreciates it. Also, too, all the articles that all the stories that we cover today, you can read on our website at www.highat9news.com. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And, Adam, if you can put the link in the chat, we would appreciate it. On January 1st, we are going to be moving to our new channel at Highat9 News, HIGHATNINE News, NEWS. On YouTube, we want to build that channel up. So if you could please go and subscribe, hit the notification, so then that way you don't miss out on any of the stuff. And we will still continue to have content on this channel that we are currently producing, and we are going to be releasing at the beginning of the year for all of you guys. So with that said, let's go to another commercial. The Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated.
This 36-year practicing attorney and now the retired founding partner at Armada Law Corp is here to break us off with a little bit of foul-mouthed knowledge. Dale Schafer, what you got for us?
It's your favorite Tio Loco. Shout out to my granddaughter. It's her 23rd birthday today. I'm just going to go spend some time with her. I got 12 of them, and 4 of them are now 23. So I'm absolutely an old man now. Now, my story is a continuation of what Rico talked about, the settlement in New York of this nonsensical suit that Kathy Hochul was trying to put lipstick on the pig about. And it's from Law 360. New York pot regulators will settle suits that stalled licensure. And what you guys talked about yesterday was the 600,000 pounds of CBN boof that's being stored in New York before it goes out to dispensaries. When I read this story, what I saw was a typical problem that we see and are going to continue to see around the nation. New York passed a state law, and these are what we call enabling statutes. They then give regulators the authority to go out and write these nitpicky regulations, okay? And one of the issues is always, have you exceeded your authority from the enabling statutes? And the cases that we're talking about, there was a couple of veterans and then some others that fit into a category the state legislature had created for social equity. And these included veterans, people with cannabis crimes. So what the regulators decided to do was when they put out this control, these conditional, I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart this morning. These conditional adult use dispensary licenses, they limited them to only people who had a New York State cannabis crime. You couldn't have a federal cannabis crime, not veterans. So the groups that came in were groups that had already passed a lot of the process and were ready to open, and then they decided we're going to limit it to this group, and they said, hold on, I don't think you have the power to do that because it exceeds what the regulators said. I mean, what the state and the legislature and the enabling statute said. And the court agreed with them. They issued an injunction. Veterans group and a group of other applicants got an injunction in place. They stopped all of it, okay, which is just a mess because now all the CBN booth is going to sit there till they figure this shit out. But the problem involves overstepping the legislative mandate and the authority of these enabling statutes. And it also involves social equity because these are set up for social equity, which spills over into what we talked about before, the dormant commerce clause. So what it looks like happened here is the state regulators decided to settle with the people who filed the suit. But what they didn't fix was that the enabling statute has a group of people that qualify for social equity that's expansive. And the regulators did this in a very restrictive way. Now, last year, the United States Supreme Court threw out some environmental regulations. They claimed the regulators went beyond the authority given to them by Congress. I think this is another spinoff of the same sort of mindset that we gave you the ability to write regulations within certain parameters, and you went outside the bounds. So we're going to rein you in. Now, I think this is going to move things forward. The problem is until the legislature puts this conditional adult use dispensary language into the enabling statute, it can't be enforced anymore. So that screws up social equity for people. Okay? And it's like social equity is always given the last ticket to the dance anyway. I just see this as a continuing problem for any state that's going to try to do social equity. If you are not clear in your enabling statutes, like New York wasn't, you're going to just open up a can of worms here that is going to lead to litigation, and people that you're trying to help with social equity are going to be left standing there, holding their virile member going nowhere. So we keep talking about people learning from other mistakes. We've had enough issues come up with these enabling statutes. And one of the things that you need to pay attention to if you're going to be in the industry and the state passes laws are enabling statutes. As the regulations roll out, every state has a mechanism for input. Okay? Once you get the regulations defined, they're supposed to be sent for review. And in California, it's the Office of Administrative Law. They're supposed to look for things like this. Have you exceeded your regulatory authority? Is this going to be a problem with any other statutes and regulations? If you don't take all that seriously, you're setting people that want to get up in the industry another litigation bill to have to pay on top of the excess taxes, the cost for regulations. So you would hope that they would learn, but this just tells me they're not learning. these people still have their head about 4 feet up their ass. And whoever is pushing them politically to do this stuff, that's where you need to focus. They're the problem. And it typically is people whose industry is going to take a hit if they fully enable all of cannabis to be put forward as a viable economic entity. So it's a continuation of what we talked about, Rico, but it's my slant, what I see as a practicing attorney, that these are the problems that are being created. I mean, as the litigator, hell, make these things. I'll be happy to take your money and litigate. The problem is it doesn't fix anything. You're setting people up to spend extra money in litigation. You shouldn't have to. And I'm not fully retired yet, just to be clear. I'm kind of hanging around as the old goat, semi-retired.
Yeah. Dale, I mean, the young ones need guidance, Dale. So we're glad you're staying on.
Well, the problem is, can you get them to listen to an old goat like me?
They'll listen. I mean, they may not listen, but they'll hear you. You know what I mean?
Well, I've been to prison. I know a couple of guys.
You
So
know
it's
a
like,
couple
you want to
guys.
hear me now?
Yeah.
Or I'm going to send some pipe smoking dudes over with pliers.
Yep.
Sick the goons.
Oh man.
I'm glad we got your take on this one, Dale, because I was very, very, very intrigued by this whole legal proceeding and how it went down. And like my take, like, yo, this whole social equity movement has been flawed from the beginning. And as we will see, when federal legalization, whatever that looks like, as we inch towards that, you're going to have more and more lawsuits because it's unconstitutional, especially with the fall of affirmative action recently. You can see less and less favors being given out to people, whether they morally deserve help or not. The fact of the matter is, it's business, and in business and in capitalism, it's not about consciousness. I don't believe in conscious capitalism, like, at all. It is a system, and these people do have a right to sue if they don't get the same opportunities as you do. So this is why I keep on saying it. I've said it from the beginning. I'm going to say it for years. Like, we need to talk about reparations. If you want to talk about righting the wrongs of that were done on these communities, the data's out there. We have the proof. We got the Nixon tapes. It was a 100% targeted attack on Black and brown communities from the jump. Break these people off of reparations. And don't give them licenses if they don't know how to run businesses just because you live somewhere. Like how's that going to help you if you don't know how to run a business?
Well, you're right too, Rico, and on that too. Troy Lawrence also brings up a very interesting point in the chat. He says there's no equity for the disabled owners. It was built off the backs of the medical preference, and he says it's foolish. Stick to helping people. Keep it medical.
Yeah. That's what we keep on coming back to too, man.
Yeah.
The whole reason we have a quote unquote industry
is because
of medical.
Exactly.
Because of the gay community in the 80s, right?
No, because of the AIDS epidemic in the
gay
80s
community.
and 90s. Yep.
And it's because of medical usage, and all these bills get passed, all these adult use and provisions go forward.
Yep.
I hear less and less, and I talked about it in my story. I hear less and less talk about cannabis as medicine, right? And we're talking about it like it's a straight up business. It's an federally illegal business. And who runs capitalism right now? They don't look like me.
Some of them do.
Very few, and less than 1%
You don't get to
in
go
our
into
industry.
the back rooms, Rico. You don't get invited to the back rooms, and that's the problem.
I get paraded.
And
I
one of
get
the
paraded
concerns
as a
I have-
mascot out front and say, look what we're doing. We're helping out these people, right? Give us more money so we can give them, a couple of pennies off of the dollars that we're making.
So you're saying, are you saying you don't like working crowd control, Rico?
I keep a camera in my hand, and a bag in my pocket, man. I let the crowd do its thing, man. I just surf.
Just surf. Huh?
The idea behind social equity is a laudable one. And those of us who have cannabis criminal records understand that, hey, I got drug into this because my wife got cancer. I mean, I wasn't out, trying to lobby the legislature. I had to deal with cancer, and smoking pot kept her alive. The medical industry was a bunch of fucking pussies who wouldn't get involved, so we got involved. And we just poked the tiger, okay, and ended up in prison. but I have not made use of my status as a disabled veteran or a criminal with a cannabis record. As you know, Rico, I don't look like you. Okay,
Yep.
I didn't have to fight prejudice. I mean, I had to deal with getting into the UC system before the Bakke case, but I got into college. I didn't have any issues with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I also don't want to be precluded from going to New York and saying I'm a disabled veteran, I have a cannabis crime. God damn it, I want to get in the front of the line with everybody else. I should be able to do that. That's the dormant commerce clause problem that they're having. Okay, I mean, I'm an attorney. I did pretty well. I came out of prison. I still had a law license. I can survive. But it's how many people came out of prison? Their family had left them, or it's just demolished. They have nothing. You know, what are you going to do? And the idea of trying to give them a leg up is laudable. But what I keep finding is when I sit down with these people, they are used as a shoehorn to get rich people into the business. Okay, and it pisses me off. Because I confront these rich motherfuckers, and I tell you, they hate me because I've been invited to the back room where we're going to talk about shit that you don't say in public, and I call their ass out. Okay?
Right.
They don't like me, and I don't know how we fix this because the people who are supposed to be helped don't have a voice that really gets heard. They get used, and then they get kicked to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
I have some successful equity clients. We just got a dispensary open in Sacramento. God love them. Women of color. You know, it's wonderful when it works. And when it doesn't, it's another kick in the nuts.
And on that, Dale, thank you for that. We got to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back. I'm Jason Beck, and this is Smoky Vanilla. And if you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to get yourself a stretch and smoke with Smoky Vanilla.
That's right, baby. I'm Smoky Vanilla with my background in kinesiology. I'm a sports massage therapist and stretch coach. I focus mostly on athletes who have chronic pain or injury due to their sport, or the legends of the chronic in the game, baby.
Oh, yeah, you know what it is. We just stretched, and now we're going to smoke, because you know what it is.
That's right. I love intuitively creating a session based on the individual I'm working with. We'll go through a few assessments, look at the past health history, injury, or anything that's still affecting you today, and create a customized session just for you. Let's go. Yee!
All right, Rico, you ready for this? This is the one I was telling you about earlier this morning.
Break them off.
$1 million in illegal marijuana confiscated from a Wilton facility, according to police. Approximately $1 million worth of illegal marijuana was confiscated from a facility in Wilton, according to Wilton police. According to the press release from the police chief of Watson police officers, along with investigators from the main office of cannabis policy, were conducting a routine follow-up inspection Tuesday at a licensed marijuana cultivation facility at a property on Weld Road in Wilton. During the inspection, police reportedly received information that someone built another unlicensed marijuana cultivation facility in a different building on the property. Oh my. Wilton Police Department officers say they made contact with the owner of the property. They came and escorted Wilton Police Department officers and Wilton Code Enforcement and OCP investigators into the interior of the building. Inside, Wilton police officers say they found 1,211 illegally cultivated live marijuana plants and approximately 200 pounds of illegally cultivated dried marijuana. The total value of the illegally cultivated marijuana discovered is estimated at to be $1 million. Rico, get your calculator out. Wilton Police Department officers seized the illegally cultivated marijuana and destroyed it per protocol. Wilton's police chief says the owner of the property on Weld Reed has no connection to the interior operations of either the licensed or unlicensed marijuana cultivation facility, and the identity of the person or persons responsible for the unlicensed marijuana cultivation facility, just like the last story, Rico, remains under investigation at this time. Oh, yeah. It is just more of the same. What do you guys think about this?
Growing weed's a misdemeanor soaking wet. Why wouldn't you take another building and stuff it full of weed? I mean, these people think that the trap works because they're stupid. No, they're not stupid.
Yeah.
You know, they're actually very smart. It's laissez-faire capitalism. I got another building over there, and they only come visit one if they're an enforcement officer. They don't have a right to go to the other one, so fuck them. Be bold. Fill it up with weed.
I want to know who's
It's
buying.
Wilton.
I want to know who's buying 1,200 plants and 200 pounds of weed for $1 million. That's what I want.
I want to know.
That,
That's what I
know
want.
who
cotton
snitched.
math.
I want to know who snitched here.
Apparently, I
They're
need to go to
following up?
Wilton. No. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So there was a cultivation on this property, a licensed cultivation. So they went to do an inspection on that, and while they're at the property, they noticed somehow that there was another structure on the same parcel that was totally unrelated with that. That was also an
and
illegal cultivation.
it says in the report. It says during that inspection, they received information that someone built another
Ran their
unlicensed.
mouth.
Yeah, someone squealed.
Somebody ain't getting paid.
Someone squealed.
But I've set these premises up before, guys, and you define the premise. And when you carve them out of, rural property, draw a line around, well, where are you going to license your premise? And a lot of these places have barns and other buildings on the property.
Mm-hmm.
It's not part of the premise. So when the inspectors come to look, they go to the licensed premise because you give them permission to go there and look on your property. Everything else requires permission or a warrant. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty bold that, hey, I can throw a rock to the building over there and we're growing 10 plants worth $100 million in New York over there. That's the cop math.
Man.
So I just see this as being pretty bold. I've had some clients that said, yeah, I need you around because I need you to bail me out for the shit I'm doing. It's like, I don't want to hear what you're doing, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll come bail you out.
Yep. Man. Maine. I guess they must be getting high prices for their cannabis in Maine.
They said they got some good shit out there, man.
Apparently.
From what I've heard.
Apparently. So this may not have been a booth farm that was eradicated. This may have actually been some good weed because there's only 1,200 plants. I don't think that's a lot of plants.
I don't know, man. Those main plants are more robust.
Hold
I
on.
guess.
And it was indoor because it was inside a structure, so it wasn't no outdoor trash.
It has to be indoor if it's in Maine, right?
I mean, no. You can grow outdoors in
climate up
Maine.
there?
You can grow outdoors in Maine. I mean, you get
Okay.
sunlight. I'm not saying you're going to have a long harvest season or anything like that, but,
Get a ruderalis cross.
yeah, like
Fishes
you'll grow
early.
something. Not saying it's going to be amazing fire. It's the perfect climate for it, but you'll get something. Might have some seeds.
Like Russia in Maine.
But
Shit freezes early.
it'll probably be better than
Yes.
brown weed, though.
Flash freezing.
Oh, no, that cryo harvest, bro. That new tech.
Yeah, make you cry. It's like onion.
Oh, man. You ready for this last story, Rico?
Let's break us off, man. Break us off with a quick one.
All right, here we go. Of course, today, it wouldn't be a story today without this being the final story. MJ BizCon 2023 opens today with hopes for a brighter cannabis industry future. MJ BizCon, the world's largest and biggest event in the cannabis sector, kicks off on Wednesday in Las Vegas as industry leaders wrap up a tough year and hope for positive change in 2024, particularly the potential reclassification of marijuana as a less dangerous drug by the U.S. government. Well, that's not going to help you guys at all. I don't know why you guys are excited for that. As in previous years, the 12th annual MJ Biz attracts cannabis industry decision makers. 72% of attendees in 2023 are at the vice president level or above. Participants are traveling to the Las Vegas Convention Center from every state in the U.S. and beyond, as international attendance has bounced back from pre-pandemic levels. MJ BizCon also features 135 speakers, with 2/3 of them from underrepresented groups across the cannabis sector. This year's conference and expo come at yet another potential turning point for the $34 billion U.S. regulated marijuana industry. Yeah, I'm not going to go into the possibilities of that because that's just BS, and more BS. But they say that they want to celebrate wins and commiserate some losses. This year's theme, Dare to Grow, honors the pioneers, risk takers, and mavericks that make the cannabis industry so unique, said Jess Taylor, MJ Biz's Chief Revenue and Experience Officer. After a challenging year, we were looking forward to coming together with this resilient community to celebrate wins, commiserate losses, and set ourselves up for success going into 2024, Tyler continued. We are encouraged by the momentum we saw late this year with the possibility of rescheduling and safer banking gaining traction. Our hope is that MJ BizCon 2023 is the start of a brighter year ahead for this incredible industry. And they go on to say, a few more things. You can read the full article at www.highat9news.com. But they say they have a lot in store. And some of these things is the patio at MJ BizCon returns with food trucks and outdoor games and a DJ and more. And the retail partner Thrive Cannabis Marketplace will have a lounge on the show floor where shoppers can pre-order cannabis products, then take a shuttle bus to and from Thrive's Las Vegas Strip location, and all attendees and exhibitors get free entry into the official MJ BizCon opening night after party at Omania nightclub at Caesars Palace. Plus, industry innovators will be recognized at the MJ's International Cannabis Business Awards in partnership with Fairchild Events and the Palms Hotel on Thursday night. And MJ BizCon is also taking over the Lexi Hotel, Las Vegas, first cannabis consumption-friendly hotel with suites for MJ BizCon attendees and meeting space for off-site networking. And also, too, they are even having Liddy in the City in Las Vegas at the Lexi Hotel on Saturday. And, oh, man, it's going to be a good one. And that's pretty much all I got for you today, Rico.
Without going too far over time today, I got to admit, I've been to MJ BizCon every year, but this year I still might go. And I've closed a lot of business there. I think the problem with MJ Biz and a lot of these other regional shows and overall industry, like, you're trying to help people out that built this industry when it's far too late. You try to like, oh yeah, let's uplift these people and everything. You wouldn't let these people in when shit first started popping.
Yep.
And they tried to be all super professional in the beginning, and they set the tone for the Chads to come in there and do their thing, right? And that's just my issue. And you have people, a lot of the folks that aren't attending is because they're trying to keep their business running, period. So to take off 3-4 days to go out there and party and everything, like, you got to make some real choices these days. So I think it's kind of ass backwards for large organizations like MJ Biz to retroactively be like, oh yeah, these people built the industry. We need to make sure we honor these people. We got to make sure our top talk tracks are talking about preserving the industry. Like, it would not be an unfair argument to make if you said that MJ Biz is a big part of the problem and where we are right now.
Yep. And, I think this is going to be the lowest attended MJ Biz conference that they have seen. I know so many industry people that are not attending that normally would attending. I think this is going to be their lowest attended year that they've seen to date.
Yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to that Black Friday tickets that I saw come through and Cyber Monday promos that they came through with.
Have you ever seen a Black Friday sale for MJ Biz tickets before?
I don't think so.
I never have.
Or Cyber Monday.
Or Cyber Monday. Yeah, I've never seen any of that. Exactly.
So, yeah, it was Honeycut was introduced at MJ Biz back in like 2019.
Oh man. Oh boy.
Just saying.
Oh.
I just don't think hope is enough anymore. If that's your plan, it's not working. If you're going to get in this industry, you better be lean, mean, and we still have a lot of political work to do because the market's out there. The market, people want to consume cannabis. It's out there. How do we break through the political, handcuffs we all have to wear to be legal? Because we can't compete against the trap market with all the shit we've got to do to try and meet all these legal regulations. You can't make any money. That's the circling the drain conundrum we all face. Every business I sit down and talk to, it's like, how can you cut your overhead? Okay, you all want to do good things for people, but if you can't pay your bills, you're out of business. That was
right.
never the message from the gate. It's the message now. And anybody doing this ought to learn that unless you have a sugar daddy, and the sugar daddies always want to get paid, you got to run a business here.
That's
This
right.
is a marketplace. It's almost impossible to run a business in.
You're
It's
right.
hard.
You know what, Dale? I think a great solution to all the problems in the industry right now is just like my man Troy always saying, open up the damn market. If you have like 1 year of amnesty, you actually focus those enforcement efforts to focus on the trap, let them handle that, and you open up the market, set a flat tax for absolutely everybody, and let things figure themselves out. You want to have a free market? You want to see how people can actually compete? Let them participate. Take away them shackles that keep people on one side of the market or the other, and let the market speak for itself.
I have said that to supervisors and city council members and even some legislatures, and you can watch on their face as their butt puckers.
Oh, there we
That's
go
the
again.
problem we still have.
Oh man, it's been a puckering, quivering Tuesday, Dale.
Yeah.
Yep.
Duck face Wednesday.
And I'm willing
Is
to
it
bet
Tuesday or Wednesday?
I'm willing to bet everybody is going to feel that same way, Dale, when they check out of their hotels in Las Vegas and they get the bill.
Yeah, you watch their faces
Yep.
and look for that butt puckering look on their face.
Exactly.
Why's my butt hurt?
Just tell them
what happened last night.
Just tell them just bend over and grab your ankles.
And listen for the zipper.
Yep.
Hey, on that note, thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our super fans showing love, getting their comments posted live on the big screen. Our live audience and online supporters catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day. To our vetted correspondents tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table too. Even though it's just Dale today. Everybody, you got to go to Vegas. You got to go to Vegas. You got to hang out with Bernie. You got to hang with Burner.
That's right. That's right. Get it in.
See where y'all priorities are. To our production team, Adam, to all of our sponsors, keeping the lights on, and our AV struggles to a minimum. As always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason we show up to read these headlines every single day. Thank you, boo. And you know what? It's Wednesday, not Tuesday, Jason. Wednesday, hump day, November 29th, 2023. The show's over. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it's enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News, cannabis industry's #1 daily news show. Dale, Uncle Dale, you got something for these good people today.
I hope so. Whatever your belief system, ontology, whoever you talk to when you're looking for advice, ask them to bring out the better angels of our nature. Because we're bringing out the cruel, killing part of our human nature right now around the world. And we need to love each other a little more. That's it.